Hi there! Are you ready for an adventure? Have you ever wondered what happens to rain after it falls on the earth? Pretend you are a raindrop traveling in a cloud. Look below you. There are the Great Lakes and the Adirondack Mountains. Uh-oh, it looks like your cloud's going to get squished against the Green Mountains. Whoa! It's raining! And it's your turn to fall. That was fun. Where are you?
Welcome to Mount Mansfield, the highest peak in Vermont. At over 4,000 feet, everything else in Vermont is downhill from here. It's a long journey down the mountain, and you might get sidetracked by many things along the way. You land in a rocky pool at the top of the mountain, where it is too high for trees to grow, then splash. A hiker steps in the pool, and you fly out and onto some alpine moss. Alpine moss and shrubs can live way up here, and you need to help them grow. You then flow down to where the trees begin. You help to provide water for the forest, which is a home for many plants and animals. One tree you give water to is owned by foresters, who will later cut it down and use it to make things like homes and furniture. Just think, a tree you help grow may end up as someone's kitchen table. Some of the forest is also owned by someone who wants to use it as a place for people to have fun. Whoosh! You are sucked up into a snowmaking machine to make extra snow for a ski slope. And later, you're used to water a golf course as well. Finally, when the snow melts in spring, you join your other raindrop friends in a mountain stream and continue on your journey.
After rushing down a steep mountain stream, you start to slow down as you find yourself in an open field. All of a sudden, Bessie the Jersey cow leans over and gulps you up. Bessie wanders over to graze in her pasture. As a grass-fed milk cow, Bessie has less impact on the land because the fields she grazes on do not need to be tilled and re-sowed each year. The grass works to hold the dirt down, allows rainwater to slowly absorb into the soil, and helps hold in Bessie's poop. Bessie lives on an organic farm. This means that no pesticides or fertilizers are added to her pastures. Before you continue your journey, Bessie walks to her barn, where her owner takes her milk to make cheese. Many dairy farmers are trying to become more diversified. Diversification means producing many different kinds of goods to sell instead of relying on one product only. It can also mean making a value-added product, like cheese or yogurt. After milking, Bessie wanders to pasture and decides to water the grass. After leaving Bessie, you find your way back to the river and travel further downstream to another field. You are sucked into a pipe and dropped into a watering tank, where you are gulped up by Marge the Guernsey cow. Marge lives in a huge barn with hundreds of other cows. When cows are kept in a barn, their poop isn't caught and cleaned by healthy pastures, but accumulates on barn floors and in storage tanks. Farm animal manure can spread pollutants, which can end up in nearby rivers and lakes. Once you pass through Marge, you again find yourself back in the stream. You flow past a new housing development and slow down next to the bank by a big old maple tree.
You slide down past the root system of the tree, but you won't become sweet maple syrup at this time of year. You seep further into the rich soil past the earthworms and come to rest in the groundwater atop the bedrock. But not for long, because a boy has turned on the faucet to brush his teeth in the house above you. Then down the drain you go, in a big wad of toothpaste and spit, through a maze of pipes until you drip out into a constructed wetland. The family in the house belongs to a tight-knit community south of Burlington that is trying to reduce its impact on the local environment. The community uses energy from solar panels on the houses, grows lots of their own food in the shared garden, and bikes to work and school. Instead of using the municipal sewer system, these families have constructed a wetland to mimic the water filtration and cleansing processes that occur in natural wetlands. You take a vacation in the wetlands for a few weeks, hanging out in the cool water with the bullfrogs until the sun draws you out of the water on a hot August day. You evaporate up, 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 high into the sky. The wind carries you towards Burlington through a wind turbine that's generating electricity, and then over a sprawling housing development. You even spot a crew of workers below using bulldozers and rollers to pave over an old apple orchard for a shopping center's new parking lot. A big rain cloud soon swallows you up as you drift over the highway, over the University of Vermont campus, and then come to linger at the top of Burlington's Main Street. The cloud gets heavier and heavier. You hear thunder in the distance, and suddenly it starts to rain. You fall down, 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 and splash onto the pavement, where you start to flow downhill towards the lake, past cars and trucks and city buses. The water slide down the hill is fast and fun, but unfortunately you pick up some yuck along the way. The pavement is impermeable, meaning you can't seep through it, so all the pollution on the road that you touch, oil from cars, fertilizer from lawns, even dog poop, gets flushed into the lake with you.
Now you are in the lake. Look up into the mountains, down through the farmland, and into the heart of the city. Think back on the journey. How did you get from place to place? Rivers and streams carry lots of water down from the mountain each spring, after the snow starts to melt. This water flows through many different places before it reaches the base of the mountain, or the bottom of the watershed, where it empties into the big lake. All of this water was very important to the early settlers in Vermont. People liked to build their towns around running water and streams. The flowing water helped turn the gears on heavy machinery that could saw trees, grind grain, or make cloth for clothing. The water was also very important for floating logs downstream to build houses. Remember, back then, they didn't have semi-trucks. Nowadays, rivers and streams are still very important. Plants and animals need water to survive, just like humans. People also enjoy having fun on the water by boating, fishing, swimming, or just sitting nearby and having a picnic. The energy in water is even used for making electricity. Dams on the streams and rivers can be used to light up streetlights or houses. This is called hydropower. Some people want to take away the dams because they say dams can hurt the fish. Then again, having hydropower means we don't need to burn as much coal to make electricity, which could help keep our air cleaner.
Choices that we make each day determine what happens to each little drop of water. Whether you're skiing in the mountains or pouring something down the kitchen sink, taking a dip in one of Vermont's many swimming holes, or buying cheese from a local farm. All of these things have different impacts on the water, land, and wildlife around you. Who would have thought? Remind me, where does this water go after the long trip from the mountains? If you were that drop, wouldn't you want to rest? I think I know of a good spot. Our magnificent Lake Champlain. It's like a big bathtub between the Adirondack and Green Mountains, and everything in the water ends up here. Both good things and not so good things.
With thoughtful, informed decisions, you can help keep our water resources clean.